Hey, happy day. I got astounding stuff for you. Masks, COVID, mask. Hey, masks do work. Why do you have to be 6 feet apart? If the 6 feet works, why the masks? If they both work, why the lockdown? A lot of questions there, hey, and no politician has any answer. In the United States of America, the election for the House in Iowa, I want to talk a little bit about these Dominion machines out of Canada. They're on record so many times, so many hours out of so many days saying it's impossible for us to make a mistake, right? It's impossible. Everything is legit. Everything's on the level. Yeah, right, I'll bark like a fox if that's the case, but here's a case in point. The U.S. election in Iowa for the House, a Democrat candidate won by 47 votes. And then they went to the laborious thingamadoo there and counted them all by hand. And guess what? There was a recount, as said. And after that, the Republican candidate actually won by 6 votes. See, every vote counts. And see, mistakes can be made from 47 for the Democrat to 6, making the Republican the winner. And that's a seat in the House. That's significant. That means something. And but we don't ever make mistakes. Get over yourself. In Canada, there are 7,774 mayors in cities and towns across the land. So do the math on that. And there's almost 100,000 councillors, alder people, aldermen, alderwomen, etc. How many of these people have you ever heard or seen stand up and say, hey, it's about my citizens. Gun control. There's X number of gun owners in my community, and how dare you make criminals out of them and take their property and their net worth is changed and rah, cha. How about never? I've never seen a mayor stand up, and except for standing up and saying stupid things, stand up for the people that they work for. That needs to happen, okay? You got COVID, the masks, the guns. There's so many issues that the federal government in Canada screws up and messes up on a constant, regular basis, right? Constantly on a regular basis, and nobody says anything. Hey guys, all you mayors, almost 8,000 of you, who votes for you? Who gets blah, blah, blah? You know. In Toronto, Canada, here's a man, he was busted. A policeman snuck up behind him and he was driving. He was obeying all the laws, but his license plates, the tag on them, expired 30 years ago, and this guy's been driving ever since. He's off the grid. Kind of neat. Hey, I guess cameras that take little pictures of speeders and things can't pick up that. I don't know. And in Canada, the prime mistake, he keeps on bringing in immigrants. Now he's saying, I'm going to bring in upwards to 1.5 to 2 million immigrants over the next couple of years. Yeah, I've said this before. I mean, that's like having a bunch of kids in your house and they can't get jobs. There's no money, and you go out and you adopt more. That is so irresponsible. That's just bizarre. And this guy just keeps on. That's mostly because he doesn't like Canadians, hey. And, you know, the prime mistake he went on here just recently to scold the Conservative leader, Aaron O'Toole, over COVID misinformation. But he actually hadn't scolded him yet. And yet the press got a hold of the letter that had all the scold words in it. So there's a guy, this prime mistake. He can't even scold somebody without having a script to read from. And who writes the scripts? It's not him. So there's somebody else actually running the country, right? I mean, is he that, his mind cells are that dead that he can't even scold somebody on a regular telephone conversation or call? You can't even talk to somebody and say, "Buh." Most Canadians will have COVID vaccination by next fall, the prime mistake says. And he's also talking about, or floating the idea rather, of having a compulsory COVID vaccine or vaccination. A couple of things at play here. Number one, this mandatory stuff, this compulsory stuff. How dare you? Don't you dare. Don't you even think about it. Oh, I guess you are thinking about it as much as you can, but don't you dare try to impose it on the Canadian people. You know, it's all about education, not legislation. Smarten up. Mind you, you should make it compulsory because that goes with your whole makeup because you're a commie, blah, blah. But you know what? They're always talking about this, the vaccination. It's going to be available and this group is going to get it first and that group's going to get it second and so on. Is there a vaccine? I'm not aware of that. The headlines always say that there's a vaccine and everybody's going to get it. When you read down It's not here yet. So I kind of don't get all of this. I mean, all governments have messed up COVID. Economies are ruined, hospitals are empty virtually. In most places, at least, you know what? They're going to get out of all of this stuff with a vaccine. Every day they will announce how they saved us. And it ain't true. I mean, but they've somehow got to do the follow-up on this, I guess, and that's what they'll be doing. Politicians, you know what? They need to be paid what they are worth. And then you should actually double their salary every year. Double it. 2 times nothing is nothing, so we're good. And you kind of get what you pay for with politicians anyway, don't you? Nothing. Y'all come back here tomorrow. We're going to more for you from the right. See ya.